Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Savage Dragon, the Ultimate Collection, Volume 2 from Erik Larsen. So excited to share this with you guys today. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and hit that like button and let's get right into it. Alright, so I just covered the 30th anniversary of Savage Dragon issue, the 100-page spectacular issue 267 last week. And then I just got this over the weekend from In Stock Trades, one of the best places to get trade paperbacks, Omnibuy collections, hardcovers. I got this. This is super affordable at $39 was what it retails for. And on In Stock Trades, I got it on sale for only $23. So definitely a bargain for sure and totally worth it. I mean, it's worth $40, but look at this huge, how thick it is. This beautiful, spine here. This looks very much like the first Ultimate Collection. Obviously, they're trying to make a set here. Very interesting for so many reasons. Very cool to see like the evolution of Erik's art and sort of, the current series is focused on Malcolm Dragon and his family who have just moved to San Francisco. And this is like the OG Dragon here, from the Image birth and the days. And it is so good. It's a slightly larger size. Let's see, what is this cover? It has Dragon 9 through 21 and Wildcats number 14, which Erik drew as part of the Image X Over month that he explains in the introduction here. Love the end papers, love the design. This was totally remastered and recolored. Color restoration. So I don't know if it was exactly recolored or whatever, but I have to say, like, hats off for that little thing there. It must have been a shit ton of work, but totally worth it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. We have this great introduction from Erik Larsen, and I'm so glad he included this because it really just, I don't know, sort of paints a picture of where he's going, where he's been, his intentions with Dragon, and or dragons is kind of appropriate. It's not just one dragon, right? I love that it's dedicated to the memory of Keith Giffen. Keith worked with Erik on Freak Force, one of my favorite comic books ever. You cannot deny the impact of Keith Giffen on the industry. What an incredible loss. So many people had such a great reverence for Keith Giffen. Lobo, Justice League International, Legion of Superheroes. I mean, you could go on and on about Keith's accomplishments, but the fact of the matter is that people just kind of thought he was awesome, and I love like his contribution to Image and everything he did. So I was very touched by that. I was also kind of struck by the fact that the dragon is very handsome in a lot of pictures, right? Don't you think? I know it's kind of a strange observation, but I think I may have noticed that before. I don't know. Erik talks about like how busy he was at the time. He's trying to get this monthly book out. He's juggling like developing a cartoon, and he's got all this other crap going on. And admittedly, that did make me think that some of the art in here is undeniably rushed looking. But there is so much greatness at the same time, like this double page spread. Super Patriot, how cool is that? I always love Super Patriot's costume. I mean, he has a star right on his crotch, and it kind of looks like he's wearing a thong, right? I mean, he could easily be like in the Magic Mike, like Vegas review if they ever had like a, cyborg sort of show. Anyway, Dart, love to see Dart. Love that she was in the end papers with Rapture. Dart and Rapture, two of my favorite characters. Ann Stevens, a.k.a. Mighty Man, Nurse Stevens. This is just so much fun. You're getting like nonstop action in an Erik Larsen comic book, and I love him battling Super Patriot here. One-handed in a hospital gown, just all over the city. It is so much fun. Props to Chris Aliopoulos for his lettering. I don't know if he's still doing like hand lettering at the time, but it's kind of amazing, the lettering that he brought to the Savage Dragon. I think that we talk about the color restoration and things like that, but Image was so revolutionary, and Erik talks about that in his introduction too. Marvel and DC are just turning out like crap on, horrible paper and all this stuff, and Image really revolutionized comics. They made the industry stand up and take notice. They, bumped DC out of the top 3 for the first time ever. The production value on Image Comics is undeniable. I'm glad it was recolored. I don't know if Dragon suffered from this a lot, but as brilliant as and revolutionary as the coloring was and Image, and Top Cow stands out as like one of the biggest culprits. A lot of it was just way too dark, like way muddy, oversaturated. Dragon, I feel, has always had very great colors. Like right now in the current Dragon, like one of my favorite coloring in comics. Like it's so bizarre, like how great it is. I love it. I love that Erik puts that much like time and thought and care into the craft of his comic, but he does. I mean, he was talking about drawing digitally, how he's returning to boards, and I'm glad. Like, as far as I know, he has like all the original art, and I love that. He will one day be able to pass that on to his children, and they'll be able to pass that on to their children. I don't know. I mean, there should be like a great art museum. There are comic art museum. I'm sure there are sections of museums that focus on comics and minor comic art museums, but there needs to be a big grand one, like the Louvre of comic art, right? Dragon's hand growing back. I just love the look on his face here, the look on Rapture's face, and the horror. There's a lot of body horror in the Dragon comic, if you think about it. Infamously, this features Jimbo the Mighty Lobster, the contest Erik did to create a supervillain. And this is the issue where it ran. And he also has mentioned what a huge pain in the ass that was, and like how much work it was. And like, I mean, undeniably, right? I mean, you're going to get like a bazillion submissions. Anytime a comic book, like look at the Spawnuary going on right now. Like even top tier creators are like vying for that Spawn cover. So people just want to draw comics. They want their art in comics. They want to contribute somehow, right? Rapture, sporting the headlights here, full on, you're going to get a lot of TNA in the Dragon comic. Dragon's half naked half the time, so I feel like it's at least a little equal opportunity TNA, right? I love the original Dragon. I do love Malcolm Dragon. I'm warming up to him. He seems so different. I really respect the fact that Erik talks about the fact that it was always an intention to make them age in real time, and it probably didn't become as obvious until they started having kids, and the kids were aging in real time. And there's definitely a lot of merit in that, you know what I mean? Especially if you've been reading since issue 1, you know what I mean? You can go on this complete journey with Erik, and that has to be very satisfying as a creator. Amy Mann, Erik Larsen's favorite singer. She's often appearing on t-shirts throughout Erik Larsen's comic book career history. So many grotesque characters, so many fun characters. Erik is always creating new characters. I kind of love this story arc. Like, Rapture is like, a call girl, half naked all the time. She killed her pimp. So she's just, my kind of gal. But then she decides to class it up for the stage. She's covered like almost head to toe. She goes on a date. She doesn't even put out at the end. Vanguard, so happy to see him. Erik also talks about the Vanguard miniseries, which features like an amazing array of artists. I wish, co-written by Gary Carlson of Big Bang, co-created by Gary Carlson of Big Bang. They need to bring, we need a collection of that Vanguard miniseries. We just do. I mean, there's no reason not to do it. I feel like the Megaton archives did well, or people were excited about that. And, we need that Vanguard miniseries. So can you get on that, EL? Thanks so much. Another hallmark of Erik Larsen is his gorgeous 2-page spreads. So hopefully we're getting tons of that throughout here. This reminds me, something I say often in my show. Erik Larsen has been drawing full comics since he was like 8 years old, and he just knows the ins and outs of everything. Like, everything is here. The storytelling, the action, the backgrounds, the excitement. But the point I was trying to make is like, a lot of comic books, especially since The Authority, I think that was like a game changer in the wrong direction in a way. I mean, it's okay to have like widescreen comics, But if you're sacrificing what makes comic books so cool, like someone lamented like sound effects. I mean, never take away my sound effects. Could you imagine a Savage Dragon comic without sound effects? It's like worth the price of admission alone here. Great panel. So many great panels. That's the other thing I was noticing here. You know, a lot of artists are kind of known for their stock, and as if on cue, poses and like action shots and things like that. I feel like Erik Larsen does have certain go-to action poses. However, he is constantly mixing it up, constantly keeping it fresh for himself and the reader. I mean, look at this crazy angle here. Always tons of foreshortening in your face, very curvy action. I love this here. This is also an example of how the coloring and the lettering, if you have a great colorist and a great letterer coming together. Also funny to mention that, you know, life happens and like his letterer and colorist were getting married around the time of all this happening, and like crazy times, but still turning out the book. You know what I mean? And that's why you have to give Erik Larsen props, because no matter what he had going on, I don't know, cartoons, whatever, other series, you know, returns to Marvel and DC, he continued, he stayed the course, and he went on with Dragon. Another thing that I found interesting is that he wasn't super committed to it. Like, he didn't want to make really long stories in the beginning because he was like, you know, the shoe's gonna drop any minute. The jig's gonna be up, and like we're gonna have to cancel, and I'm gonna have to crawl back to Marvel and DC. And luckily that never happened, and he's been able to sustain Dragon all these years, and I love that. I think that's so amazing. Like, it's a perfect example of what you can do when you have a goal and you have intention and you set your mind to it. Erik Larsen knew from a very early age he wanted to make comic books for a living, and he did what he needed to do that, and he continues to do it to this day. I think that is a real modern success story, if you ask me. Love She-Dragon so much. I always love this creepy character. You know, I was speaking of the body horror and stuff. It's so gross all the time. But the juxtaposition of these bright, shiny, beautiful characters like, you know, what's his name? Liberty? Is that Liberty? I don't know. Is it who is that? I don't know. It's like, it's all a blur. I don't know. I mean, cut me some slacks here, y'all. Gross, right? So much fun. I love... And just never, ever, ever afraid to, like, do the gross out thing. And some of these panels, like, the way they're colored, like, make the gross out even worse. So this is so interesting that this Wildcats issue is in here. So it was so smart of Erik Larsen to make... This is Image X month. They switched creative teams and did each other's books. So Erik Larsen did Wildcats 14, and it's in here, and it's the best issue of Wildcats ever. I love it. I think it is so much fun. Another double-page spread. But they made the deal that Erik could keep his Wildcats 14 and own it, and Jim Lee could keep his Dragon, I think number 9 or 11 or something like that, and own that. But luckily, the Jim Lee Dragon isn't in here because it's pretty terrible. It's not even like Jim Lee. It's Jim Lee layouts. Like, Jim Lee maybe came in and drew a face here or there. But it's like the Wildstorm team. And I think that, like, was a dick move and takes the fun out of the whole crossover and defeats the whole purpose. Like, I don't want to see Jim Lee's studio draw Dragon. I want to see Jim Lee draw Dragon. And it wasn't that good anyway. So, whatever. It's not here, but we get the Wildcats. So... victory all around. Where is this? Is so amazing. Could you imagine? Erik Larsen's like, oh, I probably don't even really want to draw my Wildcats, but if I have to, I'm drawing this Kirby Fantastic Four thing mall splash page just for myself, and I can do that because I'm Erik Larsen, and it's great and it's awesome. Star, another favorite from the stable of the Larsen-verse. Freak Force. I love Freak Force so much. We need a Freak Force omnibus, by the way. Collecting all, 17 issues or whatever. No big whoop, right? Come on, Larsen. You know we're going to buy this. We're your fans. We love you. This struck me, too. Another example of, you know, to the untrained eye, Erik Larsen's cartoon is very, like, art is very, like, cartoony, explosive, I could see where it would appeal to children in a lot of ways, just because it's so fun and explosive. But, you know, I talk about like the ability to draw and just the fact that like when Mighty Man's in this angle and his ab muscles are laying properly, I appreciate little nuances like that. You know what I mean? This is so good, you guys. I love the spider character. This is such a great page here. All the little detailing on the webbing is absolutely beautiful. This, I would love to see this page in black and white because I'm just like, I can't even imagine handing to this to a colorist and being like, good luck, because I mean, it must be a mess. I mean, so much detail. It's crazy. I love that this is like a little bit bigger than the normal size comic book too. I wish it could be treasury size, but not everything can, Michael. So stop it. Quit trying to make treasury size happen on every single comic book. Gorgeous. You know, another thing, another double page spread. Loving it. So cool. You know, lots of great storytelling. I kind of always loved that Dragon was a cop. I don't know, it just added this like weird fun element. You know, he never had a costume. He arguably doesn't need one, right? I mean, whether he was in a wife beater or his cop uniform, it's like, I mean, and you know, where did they get that gun? I don't know. Spartan. You know, that's what I love too, is like, you know, how, like if you have a cyborg character, they're always getting like Cyborg in the Teen Titans, like he was always losing a limb or something just because you can and fix it. You know what I mean? It's like Starfire wasn't like ever a double amputee or anything. Horridus, barbaric. Erik Larsen's Grifter is so cool too. Doom. See what I mean? Sound effects. Where would we be without you? I always loved Erik Larsen's Black with Stars in the Sky. I always kind of liked how I feel like he was one of the few who took the black with stars and did it with different colors, you know, like a blue or a purple or whatever the night sky is going to look like in that page. This, easily one of my favorite pages in the whole book, and it's basically a sound effect. It is just so cool and explosive and effective, and I absolutely love this. This should be like a door poster. It is so good. Mighty Man, it doesn't get much better than that. Another one of my favorites. Such a reveal. Oh my God, you're really Nurse Stevens. That's crazy, isn't it? I know. Gender bending before it was popular. Another great villain. I mean, from behind it could be Magneto, right? Or Doctor Doom, or their love child. I don't know. More great coloring. That looks so beautiful. I love that page. That is so great. Kirby Crackle. All the hallmarks of Kirby. Great. Ooh. More creepy body horror. There is one thing coming up. I don't know if it has already. I'm just another normal panel from Savage Dragon, right? It's funny because, you know, I feel like Vanguard, there was just like an intimate scene with the Vanguard and Roxanne in the reprint of the, what do you call it? The 30th anniversary special. And I think Roxanne also like was thrown out of bed with Vanguard. So I don't know. What's up with that? You know, Dragon, invest in a king-size bed. Clearly you need one. Another great splash page. Oh my God, so good. I always loved Savage Dragon's circle sunglasses, his John Lennon glasses. I don't know, so funny. Like, you know, just more. I mean, we also, in addition to the Vanguard miniseries needing to be collected, we also need another, like a Vanguard miniseries or ongoing or something like that. Give these characters their due. They deserve it. Some of them are just languishing. I loved all this here. Erik Larsen adds so much texture in his inking and uses a lot of great, like, patterns and screens and stuff. And I just love, like, it's very Terry Austin in a way to use two different textures in one image like that. I like that so much. This is comic book storytelling 101. I mean, you know, like, educationally speaking, there is a lot to unpack here. It's just so much fun. I think if you had to describe Erik Larsen comic books in one word, I think fun would be definitely a great word to choose. I mean, how fun is that, right? Love the letters so much. They're as much a part of the book as Dragon, Rapture, or any of them. You know, it just feels like nonstop. Like, you're never going to get bored reading a dragon comic. Like, so good. That Mace character, very cool. Lots of big images, you know, but he never sacrifices, like, storytelling or giving you, like, something, a satisfying comic book. You know what I mean? And a gory one. Super Sidekick's career ends in disaster. You know, he also did talk about, like, wanting it to be realistic and, you know, keeping it exciting for himself. He has no end plan because it'll end organically. This was so triggering. I don't know why. This is so gross. Yeah, here we come to, like, it was weird because on one hand, I was, like, super grossed out by the way this maggot horde mudball creature is, like, fused together, and just the way that they creepily, like, colored and backlit the maggots. It's so disgusting. Like, it literally almost made me sick to my stomach. But then we have this great shiny ass of she-dragon with the shiny metallic of her thing. Just another thing, budding comic book artists, like, know how to draw. That's why when you go to art school, why you have to draw, like, sheets and bowls of fruits and stuff, because you want to be able to draw metal realistically and, like, reflection and, like, but fur and different textures. The colorist deserves an Academy Award for this. This is so gross and effective, the way this page comes together on every level, starting with the layout, the shading, the drawing, the inking. It is so good. Even the dialogue and the letters, like, so amazing. This is why Dragon has been running for 30 years. I feel like there was a point where all the image artists were heavily influenced by Frank Miller and Sin City, and this definitely looks like, feels like an after effect of that. You know, just another casual shower scene. Talk about wonky anatomy. Oh my God, like, Dragon's anatomy in the beginning was sick. I mean, he was built like a Buick, for sure, 100%, right? I always kind of liked, you know, it's weird because I feel like Dragon does this better than a lot of other comic books. Like, the quiet moments are just always so interesting. The way the characters interact with each other, like, the dialogue feels so believable as far as, like, all the characters seem to have, like, their own distinct personality. You have to do so much as a comic book artist and creator. Like, you're the auteur here. Another gorgeous double page spread. Look at that. Dragon versus Dragon. And all the textures and stippling. And oh my gosh, so busy, right? Once again, I mean, Erik Larsen, you know, I asked him and he could do it. He could do an artist edition. But I think we should get just, like, one great artist edition from you, Erik. Like, it could be as big as a barn door. We'll pay $400, $500 for it. Why not? Make it thick AF and just gorgeous AF. And we're so there for it. Trust. Love that. Love all this. This is so funny too. I don't know why, because I feel like only in an Erik Larsen comic, maybe a Don Simpson comic, but they're, like, cut from the same cloth anyway. But this gorgeous shot of she-dragon just about to kick ass, and then she gets hit by, like, this flame blast or whatever. I see naked dragon. Here we go. A little something for the, you know, I don't know, for whoever wants to see it. Completely bald. My hair, my gorgeous hair, it's gone. All of it gone. Oh my gosh, like, hysterical, right? Like, wouldn't that be funny if that happened to She-Hulk? I mean, it would never happen, like, in a Marvel comic, I don't think. You know, like, Storm got her mohawk, but she gave it to herself, so. Yeah. This was kind of a dark story. Remember that? Yeah. I always love these characters. Like, she's got this smoking bod. I mean, you know, if that's what you were here for when you were, like, you know, a teenage boy reading Savage Dragon, you're probably, like, super excited about a character like that, except for her butterface, right? The ultimate butterface right there. It's a demon. Schlup. More great sound effects. Wrench. I like, is that onomatopoeia? Splash is onomatopoeia, right? I think onomatopoeia is kind of hard, right? Great layout. I always love Alex. It is Alex, right? Yeah. I mean, this is just, I mean, so gross, right? That is so gross. I love that, like, Jim Lee, like, underlighting. What do they call that? Reverse lighting. I forgot that effect, but fun. Especially on a character like that. Once again, I can imagine how juicy and, you know, I think Erik actually mentioned that once. I think he felt one time he said he never sold his original art because the pages are disgusting. Like, there's stains and like eraser marks, and they just kind of look like crap. There's marker and whatever, but I don't know. I want to see him. Lots of green, right? At least they're very into hygiene. You know, the dragons, women are always taking a shower. Another great double page spread. I mean, okay, so if it's like 10 issues of volume, they're going to have like, by the time this is said and done, we're going to have at least 30 volumes. That's kind of crazy. I don't know about all that, y'all, but I sure am enjoying it. I hope he keeps going. I feel like there's no reason not to, except for the fact that this is super time consuming. Would it be realistic to do one of these years a year and do the monthly comic? I think Erik had mentioned in the letters page that 268 is already off to the printer or something, so he's getting on track to do more books this year, and I welcome that 100%. I recently got back to Dragon in perfect timing with their move to San Francisco, and I really love the tone of the book and the direction that he's going, and I can't wait to see where he takes it. I don't remember this cover and pinup, but, you know, I mean, who hasn't been in that position before with a coworker? Love that Jimbo the Mighty Lobster cover. So good. What a crazy character. I love his eyes. Just the little touches. This always felt super iconic. I love that. And the inking in here is absolutely gorgeous. That cover is just so good. And She-Dragon, love her. Another great character. That is so cool too. Vanguard and Wildcats and Dragon and Mighty Man and just, yes. Love this too. Weird that this was kind of I think this was a variant cover, but I love Dragon and Rapture. She-Dragon and Rapture together. That is so cool. Love that. And this, of course, is the cover to this collection. It's very interesting covers. Love to just flip through them all lined up together. That would be cool too. Love this panel. He's looking super evil there, Dragon. That's kind of funny. Like, I don't think we've ever seen that before, like decapitating your enemy and then taking a piss down his neck. I mean, I've heard of, you know, cutting off your head and shitting down your neck, but that's the first time we've seen an actual sort of depiction of something like that. And the sketchbook, always one of my favorite parts of any collection, right? If you do a collection like this, you have to have bonus material. You just have to. Like, I hate when a trade paperback comes out and there's, like, nothing. What a great shot of She-Dragon. He did say that his sketchbook took a shit at this point, though, because he's basically, like, so busy. He's not wasting time with sketchbooks. He's drawing on the actual pages. And he said he may use this as a cover one day where this person is like fart attacking on the dragon. I am so not into fart humor or shit humor, so I hope that he never has to resort to that. Some designs for the dragon cartoon, always fun to see that. I don't recall ever watching the dragon cartoon. I think it's like streaming free somewhere on one of the multitude of streaming platforms, so I should definitely check out an issue and episode and see if it's, you know, it's funny because another reason I love the sketchbook, like, I honestly love the looseness and the design and just, like, the energy of this sketch much better than the actual printed page. Sometimes that happens. Look at all this. Like from far away, it's like looking at storyboards for a movie, and you can see all the spotting of blacks and just the flow of it. It's so cool. I love the inclusion of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Larsen, for the bonus material. We love it. So good. Anyway, you guys, I feel like this is such a huge bargain. Here's some of the like G-rated pages. Like, thanks for including them, but do we need them? I don't know. Anyway, this is amazing. It is so good. The afterword is just as good as the foreword. So much work and love and effort, and not only put into the original comics that made up this collection, but this collection itself. It is so good. Don't miss out on this if you're a Dragon fan, or if you just are looking for a new great comic book. Great jumping on point with the Ultimate Dragon, Soul of the Savage Dragon collections, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 2 is amazing. The 30th anniversary, 267, is still in the stands if it hasn't sold out. It's a great time to be a Dragon fan, and this is such a great celebration of the 30th year. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will bring you more soon.